Listen. Every story need a superhero and a villain. Now, introducing Metro motherfucking Boomin', nigga. Yeah. Every story need a superhero. They pray for the day that I lose it, but God gave me the power to use it. It may wait in a while, but I'm on time. Yeah. I glide through the rain and the fire. Take no days off, can't retire. Know you waited a while, but I'm on time. Oh, I'm on time. Hey. Know you waited a while, but I'm on time. Oh, I'm on time. On time. Know you waited a while, but I'm on time.
You know what they say? If young Metro don't trust you, motherfucker, you better run.
All the villains is grinning. All my niggas is winning. Must I remind you one more time? Must I remind you niggas? I gotta tell you niggas again. We gotta show you niggas again. We gotta, hold on. Pete.
I'm done. I am done apologizing. I am done being persecuted for my strength. You people should be thanking Christ that I am who and what I am because you need me. You need me to save you. You do. I am the only one who possibly can. You're not the real heroes. I'm the real hero.
Yeah. Metro.
Yeah. Drinking dope turned me to a superhero. Yeah. Hit that pill, turned me to a superhero. Yeah. Boom, my 90s turned me to a superhero. Yeah. Metro, if young Metro don't trust you, I'm gonna shoot you. I'm on that dope again, I'm on that flow again, switch up the flow again, yeah. Fly in the parachute, gripping that pole again, I'm on that all again, yeah. Candy in the cup, gotta get paid, king in the streets, young nigga made, spraying on the crowd, take to the grave. Ain't having problems, I'm sipping the bar. Shout out to Dallas, my bitch is a star. Nigga get rich, better take you to war. Piss on your casket, shoot at your bra. Do you something nasty, roll you in a gar. Bitch get graphic, fuck me in a car. I get your brand new roller tomorrow. I put that brand new roll on your arm. I ain't moving slow, but I'm still on R. Tennis bracelets and they came with the frost. Cuban links all the way up to your jaw. Step up the swag when I step on a bra. $2 and a half, ooh, that's the cheapest one. Stacking these oranges up like coupons. Told you from up again, upper echelon. I get the stacking up, I'm untouchable. I get to represent money multiple. I'm at the top of the charts, unapproachable. Bread by the loaf, turbo the motor, tic-tac-toe. Kill another vulture, selling up bowls. Bitch do yoga, I deserve rewards. Serving these boulders, 100 grand large when I shop, that's a total. Fill up the garage, bitch, I'm a mogul. Ain't no facade, ain't no fugazi. I jump it off, I get paid. Drop top rush, I'm going crazy. I push off, smoking on haze. Not trying to floss, Cartier shades. Candy in the cup, gotta get paid. King in the streets, young nigga made. Spraying on the crowd, take it to the grave. Ain't having problems, I'm sipping the bar. Shout out to Dallas, my bitch is a star. Nigga get rich, better take you to war. Piss on your casket, shoot at your bra. Do you something nasty, roll you in a gar. Bitch get graphic, fuck me in a car. I get your brand new roller tomorrow. I put that brand new roll on your arm. I ain't moving slow, but I'm still on R. Tennis bracelets and they came with the frost. Cuban links all the way up to your jaw. Step up the swag when I step on a bra.
Top night feeling.
Die, you be a hero, but live long enough to see yourself become a villain.
Soon as you up, these niggas wanna bring you down. The weight of the world, sit on my shoulders, hold the crown. I ain't got a case, so I can't save you now. Niggas wanna hate you, rather see you drown. And the world keeps spinning, like I'm the only one. And am I the only one? Why? They don't wanna see you winning. So who's really the villain?
Yo, can you guys hear me? Let me change the music. Alright. The music's not loud, right? It's good? Alright. Well, thank you for joining, guys. It's been a pretty good week. We hit the 80K plus mark about fucking time. So a lot of the levels we talked about last week ended up hitting, which was a good sign. Even Sol pumped. Sol finally broke its daily resistance level that we've been talking about for like a few weeks now. A lot of the coins on the watch list actually performed really well throughout the week. So that was actually pretty helpful to do. So today, I'm gonna follow a very similar format to last week. We're gonna talk about macro real quick. Then we'll chart BTC Sol as BTC ETH and Sol. Then we'll look on what showed up on the 12 p.m. and create a watch list for it. All right. Let's keep it simple. All right. So in terms of macro, last week the job numbers came out like we talked about on the last stream to keep an eye on it. So the US did add jobs, so labor market is looking decent. You know, it looks like people still have their jobs, but obviously the feeling around that is not very good with gas prices going up and inflation happening. Even though the job numbers right now are showing that they have added jobs, companies are talking about, you know, letting go of people like Coinbase and whatnot. Okay. We still have oil, by the way, as an issue. So last week we saw oil pump to 125. Today, as of now, oil, let me see here, we're looking at 95 bucks. All right, so it did retrace, but we did see oil actually move up last week, and now it has retraced. That situation is still not solved. Obviously everyone is trying to get more oil, but the situation with the supply chain is messed up. So even if the headlines calm down, the supply issue will not instantly go back to normal. So that's still going to be a problem. That, you know, so oil expected to be a problem throughout the summer. As I talked about, it usually pumps one last time in the summer. So keep an eye on for that. All right. So other than that, China's numbers look great. So I did talk about China and last week, and as well I talked about how companies are buying more supplies because they're afraid of this energy crisis and what's going on with the war. So companies are stocking up on more supplies, and lo and behold, China's numbers for exports and imports actually went up. So everything looks strong on paper, but as I said, it's just companies rushing to buy stuff right now because of what could happen later if things get more expensive. Now the threat with that is, even we're seeing an increase in China's business right now because of that, but if everything goes back to normal, we're going to actually see China's growth go down. So this is kind of like an outlier situation when it comes to their import and export numbers, in my opinion, right? We still have issues with the central banks. None of them, as I said, did a rate cut. None of them are talking about rate cuts. The market does want rate cuts, but central banks are still seeing an issue with inflation. The one thing is we saw Japan end of April get involved. Okay. In the forex market, and they did a yen buyback. And you guys see right now, as I'm charting, I'm showing you the chart for USD and the yen. One, this is not good. This is like a double top. And whenever USD JPY starts going down, the yen gets stronger against the dollar. It's pretty much a risk off signal. Now, this could be happening because they're trying to price in the rate hike that they want to do in the summer. But as you guys can see here, the last time we had like all the major pullbacks align with risking off. So this was in the summer of 2024 up to September of that year, and I swear that's when we like the whole dump to 48k happened. We got wiped out hard during that period of time, and then we bottomed in September. And when we bottomed over here, that's when, you know, BTC made the move to 100k plus. And I think this was like from 48k to like 110. So I think now this is gonna start kind of like a pretty big pullback, maybe to 146. Or follow the range completely to 140, right? And honestly, that if we start the pullback now with this, it's kind of ironic, because one, this is actually a pretty big week, by the way. I'll talk about that in a bit. But right now, we're entering mid-May, and everyone is like kind of fading the idea of sell in May and go away. But if in mid-May we start the actual pullback here, then sell in May and go away would have been very, very real this year. Number one. Number two, if we do start the pullback, and this will probably line up with oil going up in the summer, okay, and then peaking, and it'll probably line up with the 4-year cycle that we talked about, where it said that we should bottom out around late September, early October. So if we start the pullback here, it will kind of line up with that timeline as well. Okay. Now, what's coming this week? This week, it's actually a pretty big week. Number one, we have CPI on Tuesday. We have PPI on Wednesday. We have the retail sales on Thursday. Okay, that's in terms of data. We have China to hold trade talks with the US and South Korea this week between May 12 and 13, which is CPI and PPI. And then Trump is expected to be in China on May 14 and 15. So from Tuesday till Friday, we're just gonna have data releases and events happening. That's not all. On on May 14th, we have the Clarity Act with the stable coins. Okay, so this week is loaded with fucking events. Okay, massive events. So they're expected uh they're expecting the CPI to go up. Okay, again, and same with the PPI. Month to month, they're expecting it to go up. Year to year for CPI is expected to go up month to month as well, and including the core CPI. Now, I think they may do what they did last month. So over here, I think the forecast was 3.4% and it came as 3.3. This time the forecast is 3.8%. It'll probably come released at 3.7, some shit like that, right? And the rest will come out the same, like aligned with the forecast. And probably the PPI will be kind of the same thing. Will come out to the forecast, but yeah, I'm expecting them to manipulate the CPI again, which is fine, but we kind of need to see good data numbers. Like this week, the data will be really important, as well the trade talks, what will be said. So all of that in combination will tell us what's to what we should look forward to in June, right? As well, June is the next FOMC. We don't have FOMC this month, so we're gonna need to this week we'll know if prices are still hot, producers are getting squeezed, is the consumer still spending. On top of that, can the US and China stop this like trade stuff from getting worse? So if everything comes good, well, I expect us to actually go up. Well, continue going up a little bit more. As well, this week we could see. This week you may need to start taking some serious profit on your longs, because usually the second half of the month has been kind of like a chop and pull back, and you kind of need to be more selective with your longs and during that 2 week period. So if you made good money during the first 2 weeks of May and whatnot, and yeah, you should consider like taking profit after all of this is said and done, especially if this week we continue going up. Okay, now in crypto, we know that Coinbase is looking to fire about 14% of its workforce, kind of aligned with Robinhood. It tells you that, hey, retail is still not here, like the excitement of retail and all of that. It's still not here, right? And it kind of lines up with what Robinhood has been showing, right? They've been pretty on par. Even though they're saying that it's AI related, I think it's more related to them not making as much money as they were during the bull run. I think both play a role. Now, we have, as I said, we have the Clarity Act. I think last week I talked about how we're building like a lot of infrastructure related to stable coins, right? Now, this is the whole stable coin act and everything. If it actually works out and if they push it forward, that could be one of the catalysts that onboards more retail into the next cycle, by the way, especially if we normalize the use of stable coins. Then we'll make it it'll be very easy for people to buy alts and stocks and everything from their bank account or wallet or whatever, if stable coins become very popular and widely used even more, right? So this is why the stablecoin development and and rails and relegation and all that stuff that they're trying to build may be a good thing for us, and could be actually a catalyst for crypto. Okay, so in terms of macro, guys, before I move on to charts, we just this week we got to keep an eye on the CPI, the PPI, the retail sales, what happens with oil, what happens during the trade talks with China. All those things are going to be important. I'm pretty sure China is going to bring up the whole situation with Iran and the oil and the Strait of Hormuz and whatnot. So who knows if they actually figure out a solution this week? That could be a huge catalyst, by the way. All right. Okay. Now, let's look at some charts. Okay. We have BTC here. Now, I know that I have this market pulse over here on the left. You can't see the ticker, but I put the watermark the back here so you can see the ticker, and as well on the price label. So, all right. Now, BTC, let's look at the weekly. It's looking pretty damn good right now. We're tapping the 34 EMA and 89 EMA on the weekly now. So I think best case scenario, we get a squeeze to fill this gap to the 50 MA on the weekly, kind of mimicking the last cycle's bearish rally, where we went back to the 50 MA, and then we started the second leg down. So I think a squeeze to the 50 MA on the weekly is very possible on BTC, which is roughly around 94,000. All right. When we look at the monthly, that lines up as well with the 20 MA on the monthly chart. Okay. Now on the 3-day, the 94K mark would line up with the 3-day 200 MA and 100 MA. So yeah, I think there's a lot of confluence on this spot, this price point. Even chart wise, it looks when we look at it on the weekly, it looks this mark was a resistance. So for us to tap and then we actually start the second leg down from here would make sense, and it would still maintain the bearish structure. Okay. It isn't really until we start closing the weekly like above 95K, then we could actually start talking about making a new all-time high, something like that. But until that level is properly flipped on the weekly, I think the structure is still bearish, high time frame wise. Okay. Now, I want to remind you guys about something. When I look at this price action, right? It wasn't really comfortable. This was like a very slow grind up that fucking just annoyed everyone. Right? And I remember this price action. It reminded me of here, this move up, this period of time. It was end of August of last year, and this was like the first 2 weeks of September 2025. It was right after the Jackson Hole dump, right? And then it was like a really grindy period, choppy period of time. I remember we're all very annoyed trading this chop. And it got instantly retraced. Not even a week later. Like it was like, what was it? 20 something days worth of price action completely retraced in a span of 1 week. And I just have this feeling that once this tops, it's going to, because this feels like very much grinding like an elevator, that once it actually tops, it's going to retrace very fast, in my opinion. Like in 1 to 2 weeks, it will retrace the majority of the move, in my opinion. Then we'll start chopping. But yeah, this move feels like, again, lining up. If we actually do fill this gap, it lines up with the 94k 95k resistance level that I talked about on the weekly. So this is the daily 300 over here. What I would want to see on the daily chart is for it to hold on daily, the what do you call it, the 50 EMA and the 34 to maintain somewhat of a structure if we were to build a move to 94. So let's say if we top out here temporarily and we do a pullback second half of May, and then this is June, end of June, give or take. Okay, we're here, we're chopping, and then we build the move up here. I would want to see that level hold, that 75,000 to 77,000 level hold, because it will still maintain the lower high. The higher low. Still maintain the higher low here, and it will, right now at the moment, that lines up with the 50 EMA and the 34 EMA and the 89 EMA. So there's a nice cluster here at the moment. So it still maintained the trend that we could build a leg up. So if we do get a pullback, that's the area I want to see the daily hold. Okay. Now, let me just remove this here. For the 12-hour, I would want to see the 50s hold at the very least. So that'll be the 50 EMA, 50 MA, which is like 78,000. Okay. What I see here. So if the 12-hour holds here, we're good, because last time we came to this level, we chopped around, we turned it into support, we did the little SNR flip already. So we want to continue holding that 78,000 mark as support on the 12-hour. Okay. And the 4-hour is no different. I wanted to see it hold the 50s, EMA and MA on the 4-hour. So as well, that'll be 80,000. So for me, that would hold the structure fairly well. Okay, I think these levels are like, they look pretty clean and self-explanatory about, you know, why I look at these as support levels on the 4-hour, on the 12-hour, and on daily. The one thing that worries me on the 4-hour is I don't want this to be a lower high. Okay, right now this is still a higher low, and it was a nice flip over here. So I want to see a continuation on this 4-hour. And the 3-day level did not change from last week. We talked about this. Yeah, the 83 and a half, 8 and 84,000. Okay, so these are the levels I'm really looking at for BTC. Pretty easy, clean, still maintains the structure that we have a chance to go to that 94k mark. Now, if I see us flip the 3-day, that would give me the confidence that we would squeeze to 90, 95, 94k roughly, which is, by the way, the yearly open is 88k, so that means we would briefly flip the yearly open. And I think that's what really going to suck people in and get them to be really bullish. It's when if we manage to break this 3-day resistance, we'll likely go to the yearly open and probably squeeze to that 94k mark, and that's when people will really rush in to long and catch the breakouts, because now they'll feel like, oh fuck, I'm behind, we're back, we're bullish, we're above the yearly open and all that stuff. And I think that's more than likely when they're gonna start like the actual big pullback, and we'll start distributing and then ruck. Okay, so overall, this is how I'm looking at BTC this coming week. These are my support levels that I want to see hold. Okay, if we get a daily close below 75, like this level over here, yeah, we are likely like gonna go back into the 60s, and if not lower. And yeah, okay, let's look at ETH. Okay, this is a very good 4-hour. It's retesting the 100 and whatnot. So as I said to you guys, we had ETH 3-day resistance at 2700, give or take. And on the weekly, if we do manage to get that retest, it'll be us retesting the 200 EMA with the 34 and the 50. Like, it'll be all clustered together. So we would need to see a 3-day close on 2700 for ETH, and that will be your signal that we're going to 3K. But I think based on these conditions so far, maybe 2700 might be a good short entry. Okay. For ETH, it's building a nice, see, 2700 mark lines up. Like ETH is likely gonna fill this gap up to the 200s. But for me, I want to see ETH maintain daily the 100 MA on the daily, which is 2145 as the support level. But overall, it's looking pretty clean to do a gap fill, guys. Yeah. Same here, 12-hour, 100 MA, and it lines up pretty cleanly with the structure. That's a very good support level. Even the daily, you guys can see here, these are very good support levels to to have. And for me on the 4-hour, like this is so far what's showing up on ETH 4-hour candle at the moment looks pretty good. So we want to see, if you guys realize, every time we get above 2350, we get like a nice move up, and then we come back below. So I want to see us actually break above this level on the 4-hour, which it's currently doing. And I think that should give us a nice move up. To the range high, and then we see what happens from here. If we can build the move. See, if we flip the range high, that'll give us the momentum to build the move to 2700, which will be the daily gap fill that we're looking for. Okay. This is how I'm really looking at ETH. Pretty clean. Its chart is still very, very nice on the lower time frame. Still holding the 4-hour trend. Reclaimed just now the hourly trend. It's still struggling to break above the 300. Again, see the 300 MA on the 12-hour is the range high that it needs to break. So if it flips the 12-hour 300, the gap, that pretty much what do you call it, gives it a higher probability of going for that gap fill move to 2700. So a little bit of patience is going to be needed, but the move looks to be cooking to 2700. Okay. Last time ETH bottomed on the 89 EMA on the monthly, it did a really nice run up. But yeah, I think ETH to 1400 is going to happen after 2700. But yeah, these are my ETH levels. Very simple to understand, straight to the point. I think the structure right now is pretty clean to understand. Okay. Let's look at Seoul. About time. So Seoul, as I told you guys, was playing very slow and lagging. And now, here it is. It's playing catch up. So, it still looks horrendous on the weekly. But the weekly 200, which is 106, lines up with this resistance level on the 3-day. It's like 105. Okay. So it looks like we're finally gonna break into the hundreds on Seoul. Okay. And this is the weekly 200 MA. Let's see. Damn. Seoul pretty much needs to close above like 140, 155 on the weekly for it to be higher time frame bullish again, somewhat. Okay. Even if you remove the EMAs and MAs, it's still, even like, it needs to break above here somewhat to give it hope that we'll make it back to the 200s. But I think that's gonna be more of a resistance level. But yeah, I think now it's building up the move to 105, 106. Let's see here on the 4-hour. I have the 34 EMA as the support, $91. And it would hold the trend, and as well, just looking at the chart, it makes sense why this would be a support level. Okay. There's the 12-hour here. Well, I'll put like 87.5, which is the 34 EMA, 50 EMA, MA on the 12-hour. It's all a cluster at the moment. But yeah, they're tight right now, but it makes sense why they're support levels. But Seoul is reaching the top of the range at the moment. And flip this, and we're gonna fill this gap. Okay. And as the daily 200 is gonna come down a little bit, so yeah, this matches up with the gap fill that I'm talking about. As well, when you look at the 12-hour, needs to flip the 300 MA, and that's probably where it's going to find some resistance. So if we can get like one big ass green candle that'll take us there, and then it'll probably start retracing from there. But yeah, Seoul finally catching up. The 4-hour looks clean, good breakout. Keep an eye on it. Now it's starting to see some love. So as long as it holds the 4-hour trend, I think we're good. Yeah. Even on the hourly, look, it lines up. Like the hourly 100 MA lines up with the 4-hour 34 makes sense, and the 34 12-hour lines up with the 100 MA on the hourly. So these are the levels you want to keep an eye on. Would I long Sol here? No. It's, as I said, it's near the top of the range, and it's more than likely gonna pull back from there, and that's when you would want to look for a long on Sol. Okay. Now, in terms of the daily, it needs to hold this low. At the very least. Which is $83. And I don't think it's gonna come to there. I think more than likely 85 is where I'm more comfortable at. So as usual, Sol is pretty tight. But yeah, this has been a great 5 days for Sol. The last 2 weeks we looked at it, it was not doing great, but it was about time. And I think what gave the hint is when we talked about it last week on stream, I was pointing out to you guys, hey, this is the first higher low. I mean, sorry, the second higher low on Sol, because we had here like a triple bottom, then here, and then over here. The second higher low. The only reason we were a little iffy was because when it made this low, it didn't make a higher high and came back and then formed another higher low. But from the looks of it, Sol has 5 hours. If and closes at this level, as long as it closes above $96.05, it will make a higher high. So yeah, Sol is looking pretty damn good. All right, any questions or anything, you guys just put in the chat, let me know. And let me see here. Let's look at some coins. What's happening here? What showed up on the report? Where? 1 second. I didn't see. Damn. Funding rate is still negative. Huh. Layered the gap fill. Let's see here. Why is this? Okay, can't. Okay. There we go. Towns. Looks like it has potential to do a gap fill. It's mixed, it's more neutral. But let me add it just in case. I'll keep an eye on it if it starts picking up. Chart wise, it's looking good, but there is some people exiting and volume is going down. Alright, so we're adding towns. Let's see. Already. Nah. Next. Okay. Let's see. Someone's gonna probably gap fill. It was not bad. I mean, it did reclaim the 12-hour. Let me add this one to the watch list. A lot of these coins are right, like, at their daily 200, and it's like, it's either they're gonna reclaim it and start an actual uptrend, or this is their top. This is the issue. It's not bad. Like, got added to the watch list as well. It's not bad. It's not bad. EDU is very low on the trend. I mean, hasn't pumped with the market. Okay. This one has the potential to do a gap fill. It's like really behind. But it's like really shit. They're all shit. I'm just... These are all like neutral setups at the moment. As well. This one, let's keep an eye on it. SSV doesn't look too bad. It didn't go below the 1010 wick. Okay. It may have a decent move in it. I'm skeptical, but let's see. Let's see. Let's okay. These are all like really charts that have not pumped at all. This is a really old coin. It's from like 2017 or some shit. Yeah. Like this coin used to be a $4 billion coin. Used to be fucking 30 something cents. $35. Didn't Vic keep popping up? Where? No. Broccoli. This one again. they gonna scam pump this? Well, this one's only on Binance. This is suck. Saga's still early. Still not above the 4-hour trend. It's on the 4-hour resistance mark. Jeez. To be honest, I mean, Saga probably has a move to this 10-10 wick, and that would be a pretty big move. %. 80% move potential. Okay. What is PTV? Yeah. There's something strange happening with Saga, by the way. Has double its open interest is like double its market cap. Portal to Bitcoin. The fuck? Fuck. I mean, the 4 hours is respecting the 200 EMA. But who can even trade this? It's actually on what the fuck? Yes, I mean, probably has one more leg up. $30, 40% move. Fuck, I don't even know. Look at this, like, futures volume. Alright, give me a second. I'm gonna take a piss. Just give me a second. Okay, I'm back. I'm back. Okay. Let's look at what else is there. PTB, let's leave it. CC. Trying to go for a new all-time high. Let's see. What? I don't know. I'm not really a fan of this. Let's move on. ILV. Fuck. No. Okay. Next. It's not a lot of great setups. I'm quite disappointed. No. Next. Nope. Nope. This one is still getting manipulated, zero, bro, but not longing this right now. Jeez. Yeah. Right at resistance. But this kind of kept showing zero, bro, non-stop during this whole run, by the way. Oh, reclaim the daily trend. Momentum is weakening a little bit, but the pullback. Yeah, I'm adding Q. Think. Wait for the 4-hour to close. We'll likely see a pullback, and this could be a nice long going into next week. So wait for the 4-hour, in my opinion. But yeah, I added Q to the watch list. Play. Nope. Sahara. Right on the weekly 34, not bad. I mean, it's respecting the trend. It should go up higher from here. But 5.5 cents is pretty much the resistance on the 3-day. Like 4 cents, close to the 5 cent mark to 5.5 for Sahara. Alright, WLD. Let me check WLD. Bullish divergence on the 3-day. Yeah, there's a potential to go to 50 something cents. But first, 35. I use CoinGlass to verify a lot of the flow data because it's aggregated data from all exchanges. So for example here, for Q, I get to see where is the open interest going up. Is it all focused on one exchange or all exchanges? Where is it going up the most, whatnot, etc., etc. Then you can see here what the future flows look like. So Q has very good flows. I'm a big fan of Q. Yeah. What else? Let me check the other scanner. No. I should check the flows first. No. Lab. Okay, lab. Nah. This actually looks like a short. Yeah. Yeah. Feels aggressive. Yeah. This is in the other scanner, the one that I showed you guys. What did we talk about this one? Let me check here. Okay. This one's not bad. Not bad. I'm adding it to the watch list. Let's see what else. So let's see. Fuck, this was a by the way, like fun fact. Zill, when it first came out, we thought it was gonna be the big L1 that would dismantle ETH back in the day. Fuck. They had every fucking PhD on the team. I wonder if they still have that. Let me see here. Where? Nah. They don't have it. Okay. 4. It's not. They don't have it. Yeah, we're adding WLD C98. Let's see what. CVC. That's another old school one. Holy fuck. These are all like this is a dino. Oh fuck. They're trying to gap fill this bitch. Ah, fuck it. 305. Damn, another dino. Damn. Fun fact, look at the price. At one point, this was 100 grand in 2021 cycle. This is how ridiculous some shit can get. This is why a lot of people are disappointed with the last bull run, because when this project launched, YFI, you could have bought the token for literally under $1,000. Like, it was in the open market. You could have bought it for like a few $100s, right? And it literally pumped to 100 grand. Now it's back to fucking 2,800. Wow. I mean, it's right on resistance. It looks like it can go to 33. Let's see. I'm gonna check those coins out you guys sent. Give me a second. Let me just go through this. SG is not bad on the lower time frame. Add it to the watch list. This is another 2017 fucking project. There's a lot. Yeah, it's going for that gap fill. It's not bad. Should we... Crazy. See, this is what you're gonna see a lot of alts do, is fill this gap on the daily. And the next step will be to go to 300 if they can flip it. Another gap fill play. There's a lot of gap fill plays. Like Sonic as well. Yeah. Not bad. Not a bad watch list. I think the one that I liked the most was probably Q. Alright, let me see your messages here. ENA. Yeah, ENA is gonna probably go to like 20 cents. It's playing catch up. Because even Lido is probably gonna do something similar to Lido. Pengu, that was one I told people to pay attention to and start longing around here. Ever since then, it's done a 70% move. Pengu looks like it's gonna go to like just under 2 cents, like 1 cent, 0.017, give or take. Yeah, that will line up with the weekly resistance as well, and the 3-day resistance. So the daily 300 MA will be is a really big resistance point for Pengu. But overall looks good. Yeah. Which is like another 50% move. Neo. Bros. Neo was another layer 1. We thought that was gonna kill Ethereum. Fuck. Yeah, it's doing the gap fill. Probably gonna go to $3.70, $3.60. $4 is pretty strong resistance on Neo. So if you're longing Neo, this is where I would look to TP. All right. So today's watch list, or this week's watch list, was not the greatest, to be honest with you. Felt like we can do better, but that was the setups that showed up um on this 12 p.m. scan, so we'll just take it and go. Um, in regards to what do you call it, like perp flow and whatnot, so there's going to be like new scoring methods that I'm gonna do, more related to flows and whatnot, and I'm even updating the way it does technical analysis. So there's gonna be a new scoring method that I've been back testing. There is an improvement in the setups that it is presenting, so now that's being in the works as well. Now instead of scanning only 8 a.m. my time and 12 p.m. my time, it's gonna start scanning with every new 4-hour candle. So it's and there's not gonna be any more 24-hour monitoring for setups. So what's gonna happen is every 4 hours, it's gonna update the scan report. At the daily close, it'll generate a performance report. That doesn't change. Weekly close, monthly close, same thing. The 24-hour monitoring is gonna be more on monitoring the setups that are in the scan, for invalidations and things like that. So overall, it's going in like the right direction. Um, it's gonna have more data to analyze and work with, and eventually I'm gonna integrate like Ester and Hyperliquid and Nado into it. So if you want to farm, like for example, you're gonna have one wallet, you deposit money into it, then from there you can allocate. Okay, I want to put maybe 1/3 into Hyperliquid, the other third into Nado, the other third into Ester, and you can use, okay, I want to trade TradFi stuff, equities on Hyperliquid. You can do that while you're trading alts, like micro alts, low caps, mid caps on Ester, while farming points on Nado. So pretty much you'll have a way to manage how your funds are going to be split, and you can manage your trades like that easier. So you can farm points, you can trade altcoins and TradFi all in one. It's completely gonna be up to you, really, how you want to divide your funds. So that's gonna be as well in the works. Um, yeah, there's a lot of stuff that has been done that I haven't really shared. Like now there's like an order flow scanner that's put in place. Um, there's just I'm more focused on obtaining proper, how should I say, validation that money is flowing into it, rather than just scanning the technical analysis. Is like even the technical analysis part, I'm upgrading that side of it, where it's not just going to do simple technical analysis, it's going to actually do technical analysis on the structure of the chart, um, aside from EMAs and MAs that I typically use. So higher highs, higher lows, things like that. The like candlestick actual technical analysis, swing lows, swing highs, all that stuff. Monitoring RSIs properly and understanding what type of divergence that's being printed. So, for example, as I said to you guys a long time ago, a bearish divergence in an uptrend does not mean the uptrend is over. It just means that there's going to be a pullback. And let's say there's a bearish divergence that prints and then it does the pullback, but the structure is still clean and it went back to support and the RSI reset it. It's going to know that. So there's going to be a lot of knowledge that I'm implementing into it in terms of the technical side, where it's going to be able to not just say this is happening, so this must happen. No, there's going to be context to the technicals that wasn't actually there before. And now it's going to do multi-frame data, which is 15 minutes, 1 hour, 4 hour in the data and the daily. So that's changing as well. So now I'm adding daily. So yeah, there's gonna be a lot. We're gonna look at the a taker buy and sell ratio. We're gonna look at the volume ratios. We're gonna look at the funding rate Z scores, open interest delta Z score, OI, open interest market cap ratios, all that stuff. The CVDs, liquidations, top trader analysis for each setup, like how they're allocated and whatnot. So there's a lot that's gonna change. And for example, if what's gonna change in the scanner is if something showed up on the scanner, let's say at whatever 12 p.m. And it still looks good at 4 p.m., it's gonna stay in the scanner. Now with every scan, it's literally just gonna keep the best setups that the market has to offer on the scanner. So if something, for example, like we saw Lab, we saw Lunacy and all that stuff, they went on very strong uptrends for days and days and days, and they were persistent. Their pullbacks were clean. The bearish divergences were just actual opportunities to long and things like that. Setups like that are going to stay in the scanner for your awareness, to understand that there hasn't been some, like, a lot more money's flowing into it, and the charts look good and the data looks good. There isn't something out there that's stronger than it at the moment that can replace it. So it's gonna have that type of logic when it comes to scanning the market. So the best setups that are available, it will show, even if it's gonna keep showing the same setup for days, if not weeks, or whatever it takes, right? Until a setup is actually invalidated or whatnot and it's not good, it stays in it stays in the scanner. So this is gonna be another change. So as you guys said, I think someone put in the chat that where was it? That a certain ticker kept showing up on the scanner for like a few days or whatever. But yeah, if that ticker still looks good today, tomorrow, the next day, blah blah blah, next week, it's still gonna stay in the scanner for you to look at and make some money off of it. Like Aria was like a 2-week uptrend. Siren was like a 2-week uptrend. Rave was like a 1-week uptrend. Things like that. Like if these type of plays show up, it's gonna have a section to show that this alt is very persistent with this trend and whatnot. So yeah, that's gonna be different. I'm adding a macro overlay, so now there's gonna be like an overlay on top of the report that's gonna grab the TradFi data, the crypto data that's really important, like the S&P trend, Nasdaq, VIX, what is it doing, the dollar, is it up or down, the 10-year bond yield, gold price, is it up or down, oil, BTC ETH, BTC dominance, ETH BTC, the total, crypto VIX, and all that stuff. And it's gonna give you an idea if we are in a risk on environment or risk off environment, or is it a mixed environment that we're in. And that's gonna be updated with every 4 hours. So that's as well gonna show up in the scan report. So this is gonna be different. And I did the back testing. The back testing came out to be very good. So now I'm in the process of actually creating all these changes, which will take some time. But yeah, in terms of the wallet, this is gonna be turnkey integration. So you are gonna be in charge of your wallet. I can't see your private keys. No one can see your private keys. Your private keys are actually protected. And as well, there's going to be another option where you can do wallet connect integration, where you just sign a message on your MetaMask or whatever, and it just connects and you can just trade off there or whatever, right? But if you use the turnkey wallet, you can transfer funds between the exchanges very easily with like 2 taps, right? If you want to be like, hey, I want to move my funds from Hyperliquid to Esther, you can just do that right away from the app, from like the Telegram bot, and it'll do it for you. Whereas if you go to Wallet Connect, where you just sign the message, you're gonna have to manually do that. Yeah. So yeah, these are some of the changes that are happening that I'm working on. Pretty excited for it. Um, yeah, there's other stuff, but it's more like nerdy stuff that is not very interesting. But yeah, overall, it's heading in the right direction. Hopefully, the back test results are good. Let me put it this way: the back test results came out good. That even if it came out to be 60% accurate to the back test, it already significantly improved from the current scanner that we're using. So, yeah, that's what's happening with the scanner. Still working on it. But yeah, let's see what happens. Let me see here. Any other questions? Any other? Yeah, it is a lot of work, but honestly, I'm having fun doing it. Because if the scanner comes out to be what I envision it to be, it legit will be a money printer. It will be really, really good and different than other market scanners that are out there. That I'm pretty sure of. All right. So before I end the stream and whatnot, I was having this conversation with my brother and my friend, and as well there's some things that I even realized about where we are in terms of the market. Not just the market, but the cycle, our life, and all that stuff. So the thing is, everyone, as you know, as we're entering this bear market, well, we have entered this bear market, but what we're seeing now is a lot of people that we looked up to crashing, bankrupt, losing everything, all that stuff. So I was just telling my friend and my brother, I'm like, not everything that you see on the surface is actually the truth, right? There's a lot of people out there that will portray themselves as successful, rich, blah blah blah, all that stuff, but they're really not. And then there are people out there that portray themselves as oh, they're average, or you know, they dress normal clothes, all that type of stuff, but they're wealthy. Um, the What you see on the outside, um, actually is what fucks up a lot of people, and nobody really sees the internal war that a lot of people go through. So everyone nowadays, on social media, loves to see the wins, the money, the clips, and the lifestyle and all that stuff, but they don't really see the things that actually go down behind closed doors. We were always as kids, everyone looked at musicians and artists and all these people wow, they have it all. They have the house, they have this, they have that, and then you find out years later they were in a really bad contract and they're actually broke. So a lot of times people compare themselves to other people, and they rob themselves out of what they could be, right? So I tell them instead of paying attention to what they're doing, you really need to focus more on what you are doing, right? A lot of people, um when they're looking at what someone else's have, they're unhappy with themselves. And if you're unhappy with yourself, you just gotta figure out why. Fix it. Okay, if it's a money problem, go fucking make more money. It's that simple, right? But a lot of people need to do is they need to outbeat their impulses. They need to outbeat their laziness, their ego, their lack of consistency, and their emotions and all of that, because the biggest enemy is usually that they want comfort in their life while trying to chase these goals. So they're just sitting there comfortably comparing themselves to other people, not realizing what battles they're going through to have what they have, while they just want while they want the Lamborghini while being comfortable. I'm sorry, but it doesn't work that way, right? To obtain a Lamborghini, it's not a comfortable process. To obtain the big house is not a comfortable process. Whatever you want, it's not going to be a comfortable process because our minds is just so comfortable with the idea of comfort, right? So this is an issue that a lot of people have, is like they want comfort in everything they do, even when it comes to trading. Trading is not a comfortable process. It really isn't. Even if you are like, a lot of people that have been trading for like 5-10 years still don't feel comfortable after entering a trade. There are times where they still don't feel comfortable. So the idea of comfort is what holds people back a lot of times. And the thing is, as soon as someone starts making a little bit of progress, they sabotage it. Like, I've noticed this so many times. A big guy will enter the gym, he'll lose 10, 15 pounds, 20 pounds, and then they'll quit. A guy starts trading, has a good month, and then throws his rule book, rules and setups that he was taking out of the window that made him have that great month. So the second someone starts seeing progress, they relax, they stop focusing, and they don't respect the process anymore, and they feel like they can break the rules. And this is where your brain tricks you into feeling like, hey, you can be comfortable now. Then they lose the momentum and they need to rebuild that momentum. What a lot of people like that, like Michael Jordan, I look up to Michael Jordan a lot, and his idea of success was, success is rented and the rent is due every day. And this is true. Your success is not guaranteed to stay for the rest of your life. Your success is rented, and how long you keep that is up to you and how you perform every single day from there. The moment you start feeling that your success is guaranteed and you can keep it, that's when it starts going away. So success is really rented, right? And lately, if you guys realized, everyone is trying to speed run through everything. No one is calm, no one is patient anymore. Everyone wants instant gratification and all that stuff. And I really want to point this out, right? What's the latest trend right now? It's peptides, right? Everyone was talking about how it's cool to be natural and achieve your physique in the gym, blah, blah, blah. And at the moment they realized they can take a peptide that's not really steroids and doesn't fuck your hormones up and it's not a serious injection, everyone jumped on it, right? So a lot of people don't have calmness and patience for the process, so they'll look to speed run everything. And by the way, there's a very odd trend to peptides that I'll point out, right? Now, to avoid that, you need to be more addicted to improvement and sharpening yourself than actually being addicted to validation, money, and attention. So if you actually are more addicted to improving yourself, the other things that you're seeking will come with it as a side effect, like you're taking medicine, right? Now, what you do on a daily basis and your habits will expose you to your future self. So you can't just say, I want to be great, while whatever you're trying to do does not align. And a lot of times, like, because I train my friends at the gym, we work out together and everything. And I asked them this after we're done a set. I'm like, how was your set? He's like, it's okay. I told him, I'm like, why is it okay? When was it okay to be okay? I'm like, you need to train yourself to the point where it aligns with your goals. Because you have a certain goal you want to achieve, but your workouts and your goals are not aligned, right? There's a misalignment in your path. So this is actually going to demotivate you. So what you need to do is either make your goals more reasonable, or fucking work out harder so it matches up with your goals, right? And this applies to everything in life. You want to be a great trader, you want to do this, you want to do that, you need to ask yourself, what are your daily habits right now? Are they matching up with your goals? Is there an alignment with your actions and your goals? They don't Your actions don't need to be achieving your goals by the next hour or by tomorrow, but your actions on a daily basis need to be pushing you closer towards your goals. So this is the same thing that I tell people at the gym. It applies to life in general. There needs to be an alignment between what you do on a daily basis and what you do with your goals, right? And if there's no alignment there, you're not going to achieve your goals, right? So this is really, really important. Now, here's the thing. I realized this the other day. The body economy, I just made that up, by the way, but the body economy, which is like peptides that I'm talking about, usually pumps in the bear market. Like, I just realized that, where every bear market there is something that pops out that's related to the body. And there is a psychological effect to that. So when people aren't making money, they're not confident. They, like, a part of them loses confidence and self-esteem, right? And they want to build that self-esteem back up and that confidence back up. So what do? They work on their appearance. If they can't get their money up for the time being, they'll make themselves look better, so they can at least look in the mirror, be like, hey, I may not be making as much money as before, or I've lost everything, but at least I look good, right? So with every bear market, there's some like body trend that pops out and it fucking takes off, right? And then it slowly dies down. This time in the bear market, what popped up was peptides. Peptides is massive, right? And the last bear market, late 2021 and in 2022, what blew up was Ozempic and Moderna, which was pre-peptides, which was about, again, losing weight, getting skinny, blah, 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 all that shit. And it skyrocketed. Everyone jumped on it like fucking immediately, right? And it took off in the bear market. These things tend to happen in the bear market. Now, in 2017, 2018, 19, like late 2017 and 2018 and in 19, what really took off during that period of time was two things related to health, which was SARMs, which was, again, steroids, but not actually steroids, and keto. So again, related to muscle building and weight loss. So with every bear market, I realized we actually launch like some type of product that makes people lose weight, look better, all that stuff during this period of time, because people are looking for something to spend the little money they have left on, like, you know, to make themselves look better. Like, they don't have a lot left. I'm gonna spend it on something that's gonna make me feel better. And a lot of people go to upgrading their appearance, losing weight, blah blah blah, all that stuff, because it's, again, they're not making money. So right now, it's fine. I found it to be quite ironic that this trend is happening during this period of time, but I think by this time next year, peptides might not be as big as people will make it out to be. I know the FDA is approving it and everything, but again, like Ozempic and Moderna and all that stuff was available to the public, and it tapered off within time. So I think, again, once this market bottoms out and there's money making opportunities, the body economy will pull back a little bit. But yeah, typically the body economy, when it comes to the stuff, picks up in the bear market with every pullback. And I found it to be interesting how the fucking human psychology works, to be honest with you. People, it goes to show how impatient people are, that they will look to they'll look for instant results, instant success immediately, without realizing like actual real growth takes time. It takes a lot of time. And honestly, what have you got to lose? Just give it your time and see what happens. What's the worst that can happen? Honestly. But yeah, I think what I'm realizing now, the main problem with a lot of people in the world is not motivation. It's actually an alignment problem. Like their habits, their actions, their routine, their goals, their mind, it's not focused and towards their goals. Like their goals are one thing, but those other things say another thing. And I think that is actually the main problem. Like everyone wants to be some fucking influencer, ironically, as I'm streaming. But yeah, rarely do I hear people wanting to be doctors anymore. But yeah, as you level up in life, the demands are gonna change. This is something else that people don't know about, is your habits of today got you to where you are, but they won't take you to the next level. And this is where it starts becoming uncomfortable, because once you reach a certain level, you're gonna need to have new habits and new thinking, new sacrifices, new discipline, so you can keep going up in life. And before I end the stream, a lot of people, like I see it, they pray for a better life, but they honestly, they're avoiding becoming the person that is required to handle it. That is the truth. So anyways, thank you guys for coming for today's stream. I'll post a watch list for you guys in the chat as usual. And yeah, and let's have a good week. We got a big week ahead. A lot of events. CPI, PPI, retail sales, the China-US meeting for trade talks, the Clarity Act as well. And we have the whole oil situation. So yeah, let's try to have fun and make some money, guys. Okay? All right. Well, I'm going to end it here. Thank you guys for coming. I'll talk to you later.
Chicago that time, my bullshit aside. Wonderful vibe, wonderful night. Did it with try. All I get is you and I. Off in this club, bumping and grind. Who made it flood? You see the sign. We put out the feathers for this type of weather. She put her the club to bust up a dub. She came with a man, I called in the sub. She giving her hugs, we know about the mud. She put in my hand, don't know what it was. She knows something to fam, but don't know enough. My trust is in God we trust. Sipping on why don't do touch. She got her own fan, she need her a buzz. Might give her a chance, it's giving her. Out in the trance, it's giving her. Not on those hands, it's giving her. Nigga with bands, it's giving her. A nigga with plans, it's giving her. Still in the gym, ain't did the implants. I like that for real, ain't giving up. Like they know that you real, they give it up. Like if you got the steal, they give it up. Taking these M's, they giving us. And running the field like it's 10 of us. I'm cleaning shit out like an enema.
off the top. Baby, let's ride. I'm with my dogs. I pick the side. She want the boss, the one on the tribe. I'm on the tribe, yeah. I'm out the one and just throw it when we ride. I bet the corner straight, the wheel in the ties. Put 20 hoes on the boat till they tied. Everybody on. You know you need me, my nigga. Just keep this shit real, don't you crap with your song. Who else fuck up the city like us when it rain? It's a thunderstorm. I party at Shaba in New York and LA where they keep on going to the dun. Shaba, 200K what I'm on. She licking all down my chest. Yeah, I told her I ain't slime, but it called me sex. I'm not slime, just gas. It ain't no dough, I put these racks in. Yeah, if you my hoe, I call you sexy. Yeah, got the leg shit so bad it's dangerous. I bet out of the night she try to tangle. She got Paris manners and it's so dangerous. So far in time, I've been whipped up in night. I've been whipped up in whip my fists up in drive. I've been whipped up in time. I've been whipped up in night. I've been working in time. I've been with my inside. I've been just like, it's this life, it's this life, it's this life.